Welcome everybody to a spoonful of practice. Today we get to put all of the nutrition, all of the food, all the culinary together in the practical workshop of our cooking class. Welcome, Kim Bond's Kitchen. So here we go, Coach Kim. We have slides, PDF. You're going to get all the slides like you always do for your workshop. You have them, so I'm going to go over them before we get into the cooking class. So here's my kitchen. What do you think about Kim's kitchen? Right? What do you think? What do you think? I set it up a little different every single time. So here we go. Kim Bond, let's get our slides ready and I'll just go over those quickly. Might refer to them on and off a little bit. Once we get through those slides, we're going to start that whole cooking. We're going to talk about it from a fit professional knowledge position. And then we're going to add some points onto our board of things we want to do as we go through and cook our seafood Alfredo quinoa skillet. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? Okay, so with our slides, a spoonful of practice, as you can see. It's just a few slides because the majority of this is all going to be practical based. So on our very first one, that's just a cooking class for culinary practice. So here we are. What do we want to take away from this? We want to be able to look at our professional boundaries and be able to model that in the class that we're doing. We want to demonstrate some culinary convenience. Convenience is still top of mind for the majority of our people that we deal with. Adapt a Health Canada recipe with safe evidence-based flavor enhancements. We'll talk about a little bit about Health Canada and what they're functioning under. And then we'll provide our clients with a reliable nutrition resources always. We're here for the resources. And I got it, not just our clients, but I have some resources for you because we're going to identify how you can certify yourself and your resources as a fitness professional if you would like to get into the culinary cooking end of this. Okay, so page number 3, today is about cooking skills, not meal plans. We're not meal planning. How we as leaders stay within scope while we're teaching. And that's always my goal as a trainer of fitness leaders as well for you. So scope of practice. We already went over this in our influence with integrity, but let's go about it in the scope of practice in the kitchen, which a spice, our case study, we did that with. So in our scope, we are demonstrating cooking techniques. We're sharing public resources. We're teaching flavor balancing, batch cooking, and convenience strategies. That's a good one. Out of our scope is writing prescriptive meal plans. That's just not my thing. Not only that, it's a lot of work. Registered dietitians, welcome. Diagnosing nutritional deficiencies. Recommending supplementations, medical diets. And that goes a lot with when we're dealing with our clients and say our clients have multiple medications they're on and things are going on with their health, with whether it be through high blood pressure or they've had a previous medical emergency and they're dealing with a recovery from something. Every time we add something in there, it gets really complicated. So if we're adding medication on top of things like, we'll say an ultra processed food, on top of something that somebody has with a challenge that they're dealing with a doctor, we don't want to get into that out of scope of practice. It's not our jam. And the workshops, spice up your scope, culinary cooking. So let's look at our checklist. So if we're going to do a class, we got to look at the culinary coaching scope check. So I gave you this checklist and I said, how do we know, just quickly, if what we're doing with food and nutrition follows within our scope of practice? Okay, so I gave us a checklist. Here we go. Slide number 5. Is it about cooking, not curing? Right, we're not here to cure. We're here to educate on things. I'll show you a little bit of how to do that. Are you transparent about your commission? So you'll see today, I'll go through that in the fact that we used, when I did Spice It Up, I used Epicure. I have some of that from previous as well. Does it empower the client to cook for themselves? Right? Am I giving options? Am I giving something that speaks to them? Are you staying within general healthy guidelines, like eating guidelines? We know what that is. We'll talk about how we can do serving sizes and what that looks at for like Health Canada, how they do the plate. Next slide, number 6, steps to show live. So if we are going to cook, we would like a setup that looks semi-professional, easy to go to, but also speaks to our client, where our client's looking at that and going, yeah, I have a counter a bit like that. Yep, my spices are over there. We want it to look clean. We want it to do all of that, right? So we want to make it feel like they're coming into community, and we're creating community with them. And we'll get started with that. I'll walk you right through a sample, and I'll speak to you like you are just my client, because we want to start that conversation always to create the community. They want to feel that they're part of what you're doing. So steps to show the live. We're going to go over the ingredient overview, prepping food in what order, cooking, assembling food, tasting, and storing. So in here, I've got a link for you, and it says safe cooking temperatures. We're going to resource that. That's going to come off of Health Canada. And you're going to go in there and you're going to get to see what our safety is for Health Canada that says this is the temperature for which I should be cooking my items. I'm cooking poultry. I should be cooking it to a certain degrees. If I am in a professional area and I am cooking in a professional kitchen, we are probably using cooking thermometers to make sure that those products reach temperature. Correct? Teaching notes to speak. I'm demonstrating, not prescribing, right? I'm just here to demonstrate, to give you options, culinary convenience, but I'm not prescribing what is right or wrong for you, just some options that will work well for you. Adopt this with your own protein, dairy, or grain choice. We'll go over that. I'm using Epicure, for which I am an affiliate and make a small commission off of the product sales of it. What's that sound? Number 7. Cooking demo, culinary convenience in action. So here we are. What I did is I went to Health Canada and I went to food, went to recipes, and I looked up a recipe. And I was trying to look for something specific that linked. So I had to use AI. So remember the apps, AI, and the Bytes to Bytes? I went to AI and I said, I need a recipe that is Health Canada friendly through our Canada Food Guide, through our recipes, that uses an Epicure product that I can use all types of options for. It didn't really have it. And here is one of the reasons why. Once I started going and realizing, why can't I find a recipe in Health Canada? Everybody has different recipes and they all function under different things. So for instance, if I'm talking about Epicure, they are going to create recipes and optional recipes. For instance, if you're using one of their spices, this one's called lemon dilly, and they're going to create about 4 or 5 different recipes based on their lemon dilly. So Health Canada's goal is to get us more plant-based, looking at our plate demographics, right? Our plate, they have, people will say to me, well, oh, I don't know if that's thick. I don't know, but that's what Health Canada goes by, is their plate. So plant-based, their plate. They're looking for infusion, and they're walking away from, not walking away, but having less of the American style ultra processed foods going on. So you're going to see a lot of really unique, diverse recipes, which I love. Because one, they're working on, Health Canada is working on a couple things that we know of. We talked about the front to package labeling, but they're also working with all of the different cultures that we have within Canada. And one of the ones they're really looking at is with our Indigenous peoples. There's just some great stuff that's coming onto our marketplace. I live local where I live, and we have a ton of it in our marketplaces. So it's just part of what we do. Whereas if it's not so much people are knowing about it, we're not experiencing. So I'm looking forward to all of the continuous changes. We have different languages going on there. We have different cultures for different flavors and seasonings going on. Might have one from a Southeast Asian, maybe just from an Asian. They might want to have one from the Southern African. They've got a couple beautiful ones there. We've got a few from the coffee industry, and We have flavors from everywhere. We in North America, we are limited seasonally on our flavors, so we can hold it on there. So what I came up with all of that is we are doing, are you ready for it? Here's our little marketing spin on it, but it allows flexibility for our clients to infuse what they want to. So the original recipe was salmon Alfredo bow ties. I used, pardon me, the Alfredo convenience package mix, Alfredo mix. We'll go over that in the class. Seafood, which means it could be a variety of different types. If you didn't like, we can talk about whether it could be a crab, a lobster, a shrimp, something. But if you wanted, you could have variety that way as well. You could remove the seafood. We'll talk about that. I used quinoa as a grain option, right? We talk about the quinoa as opposed to the pasta, which is the bow ties. And then in a skillet, I just told us how we were cooking it, what we were using and how we were cooking it. I laid it out in the recipe. We're going to do seafood with an Alfredo, quinoa in a skillet. So it really led people to know exactly how we're going to cook that. Hopefully that helps you. And then on page 8 is your recipe. I have that in front of me. We'll go over that as we do the cook through. So food resources, if I'm looking to say to my clients or to people that I'm generally out cooking for, and we're talking about how we're handling our food, are we keeping it safe? Are we cooking with the right temperatures? Are we keeping, if we are using plant-based and we are using meat as well, or anything that is animal-based, are we cleaning? Are we not? Are we keeping our meats and stuff separate from our plant-based? Because that's super important. Are we storing stuff? And if we are storing stuff, what are we storing it in? How long can we store it for? If we're pulling it out, is there storage that can go right into something? What does that look like? Are we using items that are plastic? Are we doing that in the microwave anymore? You're going to get all of that information, safety information, from Health Canada. And I think when it comes to all the safety aspect of it, they do a very good job handling, prepping, and storing. How long should stuff be in my fridge? How long should stuff be in my freezer? Then, if we talk about for you, say you want to get really good at this and you want a higher level of knowledge, one, you could take a certification yourself. We have something here called Food Safe BC, and that is in the province of BC in Canada. There's level 1s, level 2s, but to work in restaurants or to work with food handling, they have it both for farm marketing, people that are going to do farm markets, food handling. That's awesome. I could talk forever about Food Safe BC. You can go there. So that is if you're going to cook in a business, a job, or you just want that certification. There is an exam that goes with that. It's fantastic. Number 3, about food safety, BC Ministry of Health. I would like to bring your awareness to this if you're not already. When we have people with different language, immigrants that come into our areas and they're not aware of our food and our safety or how we even prepare our food, they're in a whole new space. Different languages, how we handle food. BC Ministry of Health has a fabulous program all about food safety that talks about coming from that culture, bringing it into the Canadian environment and how to feel more confident with that. So I thought those were 3 fabulous things going on. So then, last slide, number 11, keeping it nice and simple. Your workshop, right? We're going to do that presentation. We're going to have our resources. We're going to do our quiz to get your BCRPA point. And then following from that, there's my kitchenology. That is me. Exploring culinary convenience. That's my little signature. I'm your host. I'm Kim Bond, and I'm just a food coach. So I do guidance with you. My affiliate link is there for you. If anything in Epicure speaks to you, or you'd like any more information about that, feel free to connect with me. And then just, thank you for always being a part of my workshops. And for those that are out there with the 12-month education challenge, I thank you for that. I know it's been a long haul on that. So I'm just going to get me into my Health Canada, and I am going to fly along here with my cooking class. So are we ready to go? Health Canada, let's do this. Welcome everybody to Kim's Kitchen. Today what we are going to be cooking, seafood Alfredo quinoa skillet. So the first thing we're going to have to go over is our recipes and what we need for what's going on in here. So I'm just going to go down my list. You have your recipe in front of you. You know what your ingredient list is, also what your instructions are going to be to follow this. So you can just follow along with me. So we are looking for, in this original recipe, 2 cups of cooked quinoa, which is a beautiful grain, 12 raw shrimp, peeled, deveined, blah, 1 clove of garlic, 2 cups of bok choy. We are looking for 1 cup of edamame. Edamame, why? This is going to be really good. And then we are going to look for 1 package of Epicure Alfredo sauce. And to make the sauce, it requires a liquid. Something like whitey-ish. That could be plant-based, that could be animal-based. Okay, let's get into it. How should we be doing our cooking class? Let me just grab back to my slide of preparation. Okay. So as we go through here, I'm just bringing it up, and you can walk along with me, and I'll tell you what slide we're on as we go through it. So we'll go to start from slide 5, which is your culinary scope checklist, right? So in my welcome to everybody, developing my community, I would go through my process, and I would say, welcome to my cooking class today, everybody. We are here to talk about cooking. We are here to talk about convenience. And if you have anything that comes to a specialty dietary requirement, you can always talk that over with a registered dietitian, your doctor, or if you need a referral to a registered dietitian, by all means ask me, but I also have resources for you that you can go and seek that out yourself, because we have some excellent people to do that. Excellent. Okay. So tonight we are going to be cooking. Are you ready? Are you ready? Tonight we are going to be cooking to make this super convenient for you, and I already lost my package. One moment. To make this super convenient, because I understand, as somebody who has a busy life, that we need things to be convenient. We are going to work with the Epicure Spice and Pantry line tonight, okay? It's all about culinary cooking. I'll show you some stuff that we've had up from the past from this company, just so you know. That's who we're going to be cooking with, and I can show you a whole bunch of culinary things with that. And if there's anything that speaks to you in the cooking class tonight, feel free to let me know. I will drop a link in here for you. You can order for that, but please connect with me, and I can go over anything you need to know about the products, because I fully support good food, real fast, that is healthy, of convenience, that doesn't have all of those additives, and speaks to us on our labels that we can read and we can talk to everybody about. Beautiful. So cooking, we want to be able to offer you tonight a lot of options, right? How many different ways can I cook this one dish? So I want to empower you to cook it so something speaks to you. So if it does, let me know. And you can just start to write this down, pull something out of your recipe, put something in, and just cross it out if that works for you. And then last but not least, we always want to make sure, the reason I've changed this recipe from the original pasta, we'll speak about that, is because my goal with the recipe was to get to our Health Canada's process of the Canada Food Guide. I'd like to work within my scope of practice. Not only that, there's a lot of great information up there, a lot of different ways to look at it. That is my foundation of what I utilize for sure. And they have a great way of setting this up. So I want to stay within that by making it healthy, following there. So I altered the recipe to show you how we can fit it into their more plant-based, plate divided up program. Okay, so that's what we are going to do. So we are here for it. Are you ready? Would you cook this? First thing we got to ask, would you cook this? So with our clients, conversation and community. Hopefully everybody's welcome. This is going to be a dish that everybody can eat, right? So next, you can always add points to them. You can have great conversation with your clients, right? Have we done our checklist? I think I've done my checklist. I'm left-handed. What do you think about that? Kim's left-handed. So I've done my checklist. I feel pretty confident with that. Really confident. I have a little thing that's on my little cooking board here. I keep it with me. I'm just going to show that. I won't show it in depth to you, but it is a little hang. And it is a little barbell. It is so cute. And this is what it says. My son got me this for Christmas. It says, touched enough to be a fitness instructor, crazy enough to love it. That's me. I've been doing group fitness since I was 7 years old. I know, it's hard to believe. I was in grade 3, beginning grade 3, going to be 8 years old the first time I ever took a group fitness class. So we went over our checklist for our people. We get cooking right away. I like all my cooking classes to be done in 30 minutes or less. So are we ready to run through it? So here we go. The original recipe that I gave you had pasta into it. So we have all different types of pasta. This one I bought, I'm going to try, so I'm going to see what that turns out like. And this is a pasta by a company called Culinary. And what it really is it's a protein pasta. So I wanted to try a protein pasta because the other pasta, just that I can show you from the labels, and when we're always reading labels with Health Canada, it goes by a little, moderate, and a lot. 5, 10, 15. A, B, C. Little, moderate, a lot. And when we're looking at things, when people say, oh, I need a lower sodium or a lower this or a lower that, 5% is a lower, 10% is a little bit more, and 15% is over that. So let's look at this one, and it says protein is 12 grams in this. Oh, 12 grams in that. And this is Western Family. It's just a local brand. And then we have this Catelli, and on the label on the side, reading what it says, is protein is 17 grams. Okay, so now I would say to my client, if cost is something you have to look at, so most of our clients are going to come along and say to us, you know, I have to think about a few things when I'm doing my cooking. I have to think about cost, but I also have to think about budget. So we need to budget, cost, and then also we want to talk about value with our clients, just what can work best with them. So I'm looking at these two and I'm going, wow, this one, I'm just going to tell you the cost of this one was, this product for this quantity was 4 times the cost as this one was. And the only difference is 5 grams of protein between the two. So you can make your decision on the pastas. I cooked up the protein one just to see what it looked like. So that's what the protein one looked like. It didn't have any taste difference to it. It seemed absolutely normal. It just seemed like a decent pasta. It has 5 more grams. So if you're looking to fight for the 5 more grams of protein, this might be something that speaks to you. This is great. This is one of my best. Silicone lid, heat, Epicure. Love that going on. Okay, I'm going to remove that down there just because we can. So what I did is I replaced that. Instead of doing the pasta, I thought we're going to do quinoa. So here is what the quinoa looks like, just in a dry format, right? And I keep things in a jar. Most of the stuff I keep is in a jar here. So then we have, this is what it looks like when it's wet, and that's what it looks like measured when it's, this is what it looks like dry, and this is wet when it's cooked. So I always like to have the grain cooked and ready to go. Therefore, this is already cooked for us and ready to go. Quinoa's a little bit more of a grain. It's going to be a higher fiber, but it also, for plant-based, allows us to get protein in there. Excellent. So we're going to keep that off to the side. We needed to cook that ahead of time. If you can have some of that ready, that is just easy to go. I took 2 cups of broth that I have, because I always have some in the freezer, but if you don't, use water. And then I boiled that. It says boil it on a pot, medium, for 15 minutes, and you'll see it puffs up into the grain. So it had that prepared. That was our cooked quinoa, very top. Then it says 12 raw shrimp. Here's how we're going to do this. We're going to do it really quickly. I'm going to turn this on right away. So the next process was to look at that, before I lose my da-da. The next process was to look at the shrimp that we were going to buy. So I put shrimp in there as a seafood. You could have used anything. If you did not want to use an animal based in there, you could use soy based. You could do soy based. Oh, You could do some nice soy, would be really nice for your protein. Hands down, that would be an option for you. You could do a poultry, chicken, right? Make sure we're cooking it all to the right temperatures. But for convenience, one of the things that is said we needed for convenience is that we had to take the tails off, we had to peel these shrimp going on, and we're like, okay, that's going to take forever. So one of the things that I did for convenience so we could just cook it right away is I just bought it in a package, and I got this at my local store. But what happened is it was actually 2 for 1. I already rinsed this out. That's why it's looking for that. It's frozen. Pulled it out. It's thawed. Right away, the skins are off. Don't have to peel it. Ready to go. Convenience. We have to cook that. I can't believe I just caught that. Woo! My agility. What do you think? Clove. It says take that 1 thing of clove, of garlic, and we're just going to chop that up nice and easy. I'm not an expert, so one of the things that I want to get really good at is chopping. So you're going to see me take a chopping and learn more and more and teach a little bit as I go along, and maybe that's something we could both learn together. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a break up there. I am then going to turn on my single element here. I'm keeping that away from there. I'm going to hold that. We're going to add a little bit of oil. I'll put that off to the side. Now, you could add oil to this. It's also prawns. If it's prawns, some people really love butter. If you are animal-based and you like butter, do a high quality of it for sure. You don't have to use a lot of it just because we know that it's very expansive in everything it's doing. But not bad. Olive oil. We're going to do olive oil. It says about 2 teaspoons. And what I'm doing is I'm using a wok here. It says a skillet. I love my wok that I got from Epicure. I got this about 2 years ago. I use it all the time. It's just great, great, great because I can do all of the flipping for it. Oh, and I'm just, while this warms up, are you ready for it? This is the best apron I ever had. So I have a 25-year-old that I've been cooking for him from the get-go, and now he cooks as well. There is something to be said about the environment. But he's 6'4" or 5", something like that. I don't know anymore. And what happens is the apron's always too small for him. So this apron, are you watching that? Whether you are 4'7", 4'8", whether you are 6'4", isn't that fabtabulous? Then it's got the pockets. Yeah, I got this one. I love this apron. It's my Epicure apron. Yep, I keep washing it. It's got pouches in the front. Okay, we are warmed up here, and the first thing it says to do is to put that garlic in there and to get that garlic roasted a little bit there. So we're going to roast that garlic. You can follow your recipe as you have it there. All the directions are right there. When we put the garlic in the oil and we let it go first, that oil just absorbs that. You could also buy olive oil with garlic. Could you use garlic salt? Absolutely. So if you need convenience and you need to do it that way, that's fabulous. It says wait for that aroma going on, and all that aroma is going to do, it's going to break it down in there, and then we are going to add those prawns right away, and we're just going to flip that over a little bit. It says about 5 to 7 minutes here. So I'm going to grab that bok choy while we're doing that. And this bok choy, isn't that lovely? I've already pre-washed that. We're going to look for 2 cups of that. Why? Because it just has some excellent nutrient value to it, and it adds the green. And we wanted 2 cups of that. How are we doing on here, Clover? Clover, Clover, Clover. Looking good. Is that about 2 cups? What we're going to do with this, because if we want to use the stems a little bit, I'll have to pick that up one more time. If we want to use these parts a little bit, I'll take that off a little bit better next time on the next one. So the heavier ends, we're going to cook right away, and then we're just going to leave those leaf parts, and I'm left-handed. Yes, I'm left-handed, and I keep doing it the other way, my bad. We'll keep those leaf parts off, and we're going to cook these bases because they're a little thicker. Put it in, put it in. I'm just taking those ends off, opening that up, cooking that base. Taking that end off, opening that up, cooking that base, leaving those leaves. Excellent, we got all that. I can do a little chop on here. I can just rip it with my hands. It's bok choy. It's not difficult. Anything that's a base, put it over to the other side. keep those leaves separate. Nice and easy. How we going? Almost there. Oh, nice. So I'm getting a little bit of a brown onto that garlic. I'm going to have that little nutty taste to it. That will be awesome. Now we are going to add in our shrimp, and they are, so it asks for 12 raw ones. I will know how many is in here right away, just by the measurement of the convenience of the bag. That's the key to it. A little bit of water in there because I rinsed it in the bag and poured it out as well. And then we're going to let that cook, and you can see, I'll hold that there, and you can see from that, bring that temperature back up. It's about 3 to 4 minutes, and we're looking for it just to go to that opaque, so it'll change color. It's not a long cook by any means. It's a really short cook. And then from there, once I get that short cook done, I am going to transfer that temporarily. I love these bowls. Just going to chuck it out here. These non-slip bowls, they hold. They don't slip anywhere. And I got to change my little glove here. They don't slip anywhere, so that's fantastic. I don't like things in my nails, and I do, you know, I don't like food in my nails when I'm cooking, and I have around animals, so I like to keep that a little cleaner. Perfect. These are coming up to texture. Once those are cooked, I'm just going to quickly push those into the bowl. I'm going to bring that bok choy back up. We're going to give that a little bit of a cook, and now I want to talk about the edamame that we're going to add. Now, we could have edamame where we have to take it out of the shell and we have to cook it ourselves. We can put it in a pan, we can take the time for it. We can have non-shelled ones. I'm here to tell you, if you want to do convenience, one of the things that we can offer, and most of them are sold this way, is they come in steam packages. So the one thing I like about these, again, protein, 9 grams of it per half cup shelled. There is 2.5 servings in here, and there's 9 grams of that going on. So that'll add an extra, if you put into 4 servings, it'll add an extra 4.5 grams of protein into it. So if you notice what I'm trying to do, bring it up to the plant-based, we're also adding that plant-based protein and fiber. Let's see. So 5, 10, or 15, and it says fiber is 3 grams. So that means that it is 3%. So it says it is 12%. So that means it is a high fiber, comparatively speaking, to the rest of the nutrients that are in here. Oh, beautiful. I'm going to drop that out of there. I have been cooking for a lot of years. I have been cooking from a chair since I was 6 years old. How about that? How about that, eh? Okay, we're going to give that little bit of opaque there. Give that 2 more seconds. Da-da. One minute. Yep, beautiful. Off it goes. Out you go. Into my bowl. Love you all. They will sit there, and we're going to get into that bok choy. Okay, let's get into that bok choy. I'm going to add just a little bit of oil back in there. I love bok choy. Why are we adding it? Because it's green, it's healthy, it has so many nutrient value to it, and it just switches it up a little bit for us. Okay? I added maybe a teaspoon back in there, just a little bit. First thing we got to do is we're going to cook those bottoms. Right? Why? Because, not that one. And that's more leafy. We'll just cook that, move that off to the side. And then we'll add in a second. This cooks really fast. That's another thing I love about bok choy, is it cooks super fast. So this steaming, all we have to do is cook these for 3 to 4 minutes. Woo, bok choy cooking. I've already got those in there. We're going to stick that microwave on. If you don't like to use a microwave, you can easily take that steaming package, take a boiling pot of water, and you can cook the edamame in there. Still keeping it in the steaming package because it's designed for that. Just saying. Ooh, the garlic smells so good. Oh, I'm such a fan of garlic. You know what I'm going to add? You know what I'm going to do? So, I'll be honest. Once I get this whole recipe done, so we have the quinoa. We're going to take the shrimp. We're going to add it to it. We've got this garlicky thing going on. Ooh, we got the bok choy we're putting in, and we're going to put the edamame in, right? And we have, of course, we have our sauce. So, preparing the sauce first, I can always have that off to the side, and then I can use it later as well. Are 1.5 cups, and I wanted to just show you what this looked like, and I want to tell you a little bit about the nutritional factor on this as well. Took a little tablespoon out there for you. It's got a natural cheese, so let's talk about things that it doesn't have in it. Oh, it doesn't have a lot of chemicals in it. These are the best ever. Watch, watch. These are the best grippers. And they don't hurt for arthritis. No, I don't think you can get it. Cat, you got to go over there. See, I knew one of the cats would come and visit. They always come and visit. This ingredients: natural cheddar cheese, cheese culture, salt, butter solids, salt, sodium, lactic acid, cornstarch, garlic, mustard flour, and cayenne pepper. That's what I like about it, is they have what's called this never ever list. And it's just, they don't do ultra processed, they do minimally processed. So I'm a big fan of this whole minimal process your life if you can. So let's say that you did not want to do Alfredo sauce, but I'm here to tell you, this is the best Alfredo sauce ever. Best Alfredo sauce ever. I really love it. I just love it. And I just use a little bit of it, right? So it's all about that cream sauce if people don't want to use the cream. So let's say you didn't want to do a cream sauce. And that's a little bit of a controversy on it, right? If we don't want that dairy, that's obviously going to be a dairy product. And you might not want that dairy product. So what can you do instead of that? I like things that are mixed, that give me the perfect ratio. And that's why I like spices. It doesn't matter what kind of jar you buy it in, right? It's about getting the right flavors going on. Again, these are one of the packages. These are packages that Epicure sells, and they have a sweet and sour. So if you wanted to just do peppers, sweet and sour, you could do this whole entire thing with quinoa and do it with peppers if you wanted to. And you could do it still with your shrimp and just change out whatever you wanted to with a different sauce. So all you're doing is changing up, hold on, changing up your flavor and your vegetables, but you're keeping your foundation of your quinoa. Are you ready? Ready? Keeping your foundation of your quinoa and your prawns. So your grains and that stay the same, and you change your vegetables. So there we are, edamames. They're done. Okay, we're going to put that off to the side. So we want convenience. It is just going to be so much easier for people. I keep losing my marker, everybody. It's just going to be easier for everybody if we do it conveniently, because the more we can get people doing it conveniently, the more they're going to cook for us. So let's make sure we talk about convenience always. Oh, I'll do my little marker there. So convenience. Frozen, right? We got the frozen edamame. We did that to convenience it up, correct? Instead of peeling the shrimp, what did we do? We bought it already frozen, peeled. If you have access to it fresh, that is fantastic. Somebody said to me, what's better? Fresh, always. But if you don't have access to that, that's okay too. Added my leaves. We're going to give that a little bit of a steam process. My wok. Okay, are we ready for it? We'll pull that off to the side. Da-da. Pulling that off. We will have to plate this, right? Have we got everything going though? I don't need that. Had some stuff prepped. I had the quinoa prepped. Again, love these from Epicure. Same thing, glass bowl. There's my serving. Other than that, your serving is going to be there. We've already talked a little bit about the serving. There's also, and we know it, if somebody needs to do measuring, and somebody's come to you and said, well, I'm working with my doctor and I'm working with a registered dietitian and they would like me to weigh out my protein. So there are people that are going to be using to get the right weight of their food. That's an option, correct? You can also do measurements, scoops. Canada Food Guide is based on plate measurement. It just is. So we use plate. Now I have a athlete that's here, and I'm here to tell you plate's probably not going to work enough. I'm going to have to bump that up a little bit for him. So here we go. Are you ready? Do you want to see what extra I did? Because you never want to leave here without doing extra. You ready for it? You ready for it? Okay. One of the fabulous things I love about Epicure products is their kitchen line of cookware and stuff they have. Best grippers ever. Hold on. In case you didn't get the very first one I did, this is salt, pepper, garlic. It just grips everything. That's even with oil on it. Okay. Don't burn anything, Kim. You gotta shut it off. Don't burn anything. You know what I did though? You ready for it? This, I wanted to pump it up for my athlete, Dylan. So I added a red vegetable that he can do all by himself. Just eat it later. And it is, hold on, salt, pepper, garlic, and yam. Salt, pepper, garlic, butter, and yam. And I cooked it perfectly. So he's going to add that. He'll probably throw that in with the fettuccine and the bok choy. He's just an eating hound. Oh, beautiful. Okay. It's cooked down. That looks fabulous. And what we're looking for is it to green itself down there. Yeehaw! Okay, we're going to add stuff back in. Okay. Going to heat all this. Again, here's our quinoa cooked, already measured. Again, we could have measured it there. We could have quarter plated it. We could have quarter plated it. Just to heat it. We're going to add our edamames under that steam bag. Yes, Epicure, nice. I did Epicure for a lot of years. Not only that, but I love the kitchen stuff they do. They had steamers, they had bowls, they had everything. There. I'm not putting them all in. Putting about a quarter of that into this one. It looks so good. I'm literally heating up the exact amount I'm going to feed Dylan, just so you know. This would make 4 servings. 4 servings. Oh, it smells so good. Just going to chuck it out there. It says to put in 12 of these. I'm like, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. If you have to measure, you have to measure. Again, I'm dealing with a athlete that works out probably far too much. Saying it out there. Oh, this is looking so fantabulous. It's looking fantabulous. Quinoa, we got our grain in there. We got our protein in there, our shrimp. Did it with garlic. Got our bok choy in there. Edamame. We got a little bit of edamame's protein too. Just throwing it out there. Then what are we missing? What are we missing? We got to put a little bit of sauce on this. And then I'm going to plate that. Oh, I can smell it. Woo! Okay. Just giving it like, I don't know, 10 more seconds. Ready, plate, ready, plate. These are my lovely stoneware from Fable. They go into the microwave. Again, we did these at Christmas time from Epicure. So fantabulous. And I like that word, fabtabulous. So this has to be divided into 4. I'm not a really good measurer because I do a lot by eye, but if you don't, by all means, you're going to measure things out by a 1/4 cup or by weight, depending on how you got to measure. And we're just going to toss that in there just to give that a little heat. And then we're going to pull that off. There we go. And we have seafood, Alfredo, quinoa. The only thing I did a little bit extra of ingredients is I put a double serving of bok choy in there because I love bok choy. So there we go. There's what it looks like. Recap of it all. How we doing? How we doing? How did we do? You don't want shrimp, tofu, chicken, beef, whatever. You choose. You don't want quinoa. You could use pasta. You could use a high protein pasta. You choose. You could use a whole wheat one. You could add bok choy or not. What else could you add? Instead of edamame, you could do peas. You could do peas. And just so you know, this protein is a high protein pea. They use pea protein to get the plant-based to get the pasta up. You could use, instead of using milk into the Alfredo, what could you use? Any white? Should I taste it? What do you think? Does it look decent? It smells really good. Just going to throw it out there. It smells really good. Think, do we do all our options? Was it convenient? I'll be back tomorrow. What a beautiful change between myself, Epicure, AI, and Canada Food Guide. We came up with this. What do you think? Right? We infused a little bit of where did Alfredo come from? Italian. Right? Got the plant-based edamame in there. A little bit of bok choy. I know it was a really crazy mix, but it tasted really good. Really good. You want to keep things whole foods. Always whole foods for people as much as you can. You want to make it convenient for them so they will cook. And you want to give people lots of options, right? Anybody will come back with questions. Again, we're referring those questions out. But other than that, we are cooking for people so they can learn how to cook themselves, be empowered with it. Oh yeah, I'm doing it. I'm adding a little bit of that orange in there. I'm all about the variety. Okay, so that is our cooking class. If anybody would like to talk about any of the products, again, feel free to contact me. Enjoy your meals. Next recipe up, feel free to join me in the next cooking class here. So now, as we close that down and we turn our camera off, or we are in whatever our space is for cooking, for us as Fit Pros. Welcome back, Fit Pros. Here we are. Okay, so as we move along here, our goal is to make sure that we cover a lot of information for these people, but to keep it nice and simple. What are some of the things I talked about? I talked about, hold on here, measure. Remember all the things I talked about, how we can measure. People are going to say that to you. Well, how do I do this? Well, you can measure through a scale. You can measure through My Plate, which is the Health Canada thing. You can also measure through scoops. We've talked about many times seeing it a little more challenging, looking through the plate, right? Making sure that we get the measuring. Talking about doing the label, reading that label, I think that is going to be super important, is label reading. Because people really would like to understand, oops, that looks like an H, what that means, right? What 5%, 10%, 15%. Understand why these labels are what they are. And they are moving January 1st, I believe, of 2026. They are moving to front of the package. We covered that in the influence with integrity workshop. So convenience, labels, teach them to read them, what they're looking for on there, what the 5-10%, what the 2,000 calorie is there. We'll see a lot of change on that going in, where they're getting their numbers from. So I think that labels are super important. And then just being able to speak to people in different ways they can cook. We can't forget that convenience and cost are the top two things that people are looking for. It is convenience and cost. So if you're looking at something going plant-based is more cost efficient for me, we're going to look at things that are tofu based. That can really help. Or if you're looking at meat and they're like, what is a cheaper cut of meat? You're like, oh, in your area it's all different. But definitely I would say in 2025 it is not beef. So just giving them ideas of that, making sure they have resources, and then answering all their questions for them. Stay within your scope. Enjoy what you're doing. Be creative. And we understand as fitness professionals, we are in a time, and we should be there, where all of it, we talk about rest, we talk about recovery, talk about movement. As personal trainers, we also know it's very important health-wise that we talk about food. So let's get into the culinary cooking. Let's embrace it. Leave that out of scope practice to the registered dietitians, to those specialists that deal in specialty menus, and make sure we have a really good referral program. So do we know some registered dietitians? I work with about 3 or 4 different ones in BC. I'm sure you all have yours as well. So hopefully from this workshop, you've learned 1 or 2 things. Hopefully it will inspire you to do your own cooking classes. And culinary coach Kim to see me in a different light other than movement here, and knowing that I love to cook. I love to cook. Cooking is passionate. If I could do music and cook at the same time with group fitness, I would be here for both. So thank you for this workshop. Thank you for being part of the 12-month fitness education challenge. We'll finish this one up. See you in the next one, and have a great time with culinary cooking. Kim out.